I got one about aliens, I think, if anyone's interested, although I'll warn you now that it's pretty anticlimactic. Be me. Living in Little Blink and You Miss It town in a shithole country. I work at a PC repair store, but we do more general electronic repair related stuff. I actually have very little knowledge about this shit, but almost everyone in this town is a boomer, and you'd be amazed at how many people come in complaining about their broken PC, and it just turns out it's fucking covered with dust, and after a good cleaning it works like a charm. If it's not that, you can be sure they downloaded some shifty shit online and you just run some antivirus software and problem solved. Anyway, I'm at work like normal when the local head cop walks in, sheriff equivalent I suppose, and tells me he needs some help with some tech-related stuff on a case he's got. Sweating peppy.jpg. Like I said, I know very little about this stuff, but once you've fixed a boomer's PC or laptop or phone one time, they think you're a fucking savant. Get permission from boss to go help. Go to police station. Have to sign some shit about how I'm like an IT advisor on the case or some shit. He starts asking me if I saw any weird things in the recently. Weird. Eventually he slides a smartphone. Tells me some local girl went missing and her friend says she got abducted by aliens while they were making blogging videos of some kind, and he needs me to find them so he can watch them. I'm fucking dead inside as I scroll through this phone. We got the password from the friend, somehow she knew it, and realize I'm literally just here to find the video on her phone and click play. There were a couple different folders with videos, and this boomer cop honestly didn't even know how to find it and thought he needed some IT genius to hack into the phone or some shit. So I'm going through the different folders trying to find the most recent video. Whole time cop is telling me what happened. I honestly think there must be some sort of law against that, like, he can't just tell me about this case and these people involved, but when you're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere people don't really care too much about the rules. If the family wants to sue him for that shit, I imagine they'd have to take him to the nearest city, cause we don't even have a proper courthouse. Anyway, I'm half listening as he tells me about how the phones at the police station were going crazy last night and how people were calling in about lights in the sky and people prowling around their gardens. I'm just like, yeah, that's crazy. I was drinking and watching anime last night with my headphones on, so I didn't hear any of this shit. Every video is just this girl, sometimes with her friend, talking about some K-pop band they like or cooking and doing recipes and shit. All the videos are like 3-5 minutes long. Eventually find a video that's 10 minutes long, 10 minutes exactly. I imagine the phone automatically stops at that point, and skip to the end, and it's just like 2.5 minutes of nothing. Phone's just pointed at the ceiling fan and then it cuts off. Bingo. Track back to the 3-minute mark. Girl is lying on her bed talking to her friend. It's a split screen and her friend is just chilling at her house, I'm guessing. They're talking about some shit. Super forced and awkward. I think they were uploading these to YouTube or TikTok or some shit in hopes of becoming famous. Missing girl eventually stops laughing and gets this terrified look in her eyes. I say her eyes because her face was barely moving, looked like she had a stroke or something. She's really still but her eyes are really panicked. She must have had the phone leaning on something cause it didn't move at all. At this point the cop has shut up and has moved next to me. So this girl is lying there looking like she's got a gun to her head. Imagine her phone lying to her right, by her head, probably propped on a bedside table, as it records, so we can see over her and her doorway a bit, but most of the room is off-screen. Her friend starts asking her what's wrong. Girl's eyes are darting like crazy now. I think she was trying to say, "I can't move," but it was from out the corner of her mouth, and really mumbled, really looked like a stroke victim. Video goes on like this for like 30 seconds. Her friend is clearly scared but obviously doesn't want to freak out in case it's a prank. I would have thought it was a prank, but I notice one little tear run down her face. This girl is clearly terrified. Eventually hear floorboards creaking outside girl's room. Light from hallway gets a bit dimmer as someone walks in front of it. Oh shit. JPEG. I'm about to watch some fucking serial killer walk into this room and take this girl. Feels like fucking CSI Miami. Girl's eyes are fixed on her doorway. They are bulging to the point that they look like they're about to pop out. Figure appears in the doorway. Very tall. Very dark. Quite wide across. Literally needs to turn shoulders to enter through doorway. For some reason the fact that it looked right, the wrong way, into the other room, first scares me, like, it just gave it this very human element of searching the rooms for someone. Honestly wasn't even thinking at this point, I was just watching this shit like I was completely detached and this wasn't even happening. Like when you're dreaming but you realize it's a dream. There are 3 of these things and they enter one after another. The best way I can describe these things is they look like a mix between an owl and that thing from Spirited Away. No Face is the name, I think. Imagine that thing but with an owl's head instead of a mask, but also it has a little lipless mouth instead of a beak. They get closer and I realize that those giant black ovals aren't dark feathers like how an owl tricks you into thinking it has giant eyes. These things actually have massive, fucking eyes. The biggest difference between these and normal aliens is how big they were. The heads and eyes were massive but not really disproportionate to the bodies. Looked like pig-related but they were wearing clothes like No Face. Black shawl-looking things. Made it hard to tell what their bodies looked like cause it was just a solid black mass, but definitely clothes and clearly the bodies under them were huge. We just sit there, fucking dead silent as these things walk towards the girl. Her friend has been screaming the whole time. They stand over her and I notice that she's screaming too, but it's muffled and coming out the corner of her mouth. It's like I'm honestly watching somebody have a sleep paralysis episode. They reach out. Hands and arms are very stereotypical of grey aliens, slender and pale, but when juxtaposed with those huge bodies they almost look like tentacles. 2 of them literally pick her up like she's a sack of potatoes, like they don't even look her in the eyes. They carry her out the doorway. The one in front makes quite a big bow to ensure she doesn't hit her head on the lintel. Weirdly the camera doesn't move during any of this, but after the 2 are gone with the girl it suddenly gets knocked over and we can hear quite a lot of clattering. I guess the 3rd one did it. Cop literally whispers there was signs of a struggle, I guess for my benefit or maybe the story was just making sense in his head. We just sit in silence for the next 3 minutes as the video rolls while pointed at the ceiling fan. Remember how I said it was anticlimactic? Well, that was basically the end. I left the police station like I was a fucking ghost just wandering around and I never got called back. The girl was never found and the whole town just seems to have gone, I guess she got abducted or something. I don't know if anyone else saw the video and I never told anyone but my sister, but the whole town knows the story now and I imagine about half believe it. I think the video probably still exists and I've asked the cop about it but he just says he can't give me case evidence. Suddenly he fucking cares about the rules. I don't think any men in black came and scared him or anything and I imagine he's shown it to a few people. My one friend told me the story in perfect detail even though I never told him. That phone is probably sitting in a desk drawer right now about 5 kilometers away from me, but I'm not about to go break into a police station to prove it to anyone. I think the official story is that she got kidnapped by 3 dudes in masks. Anyway, I still think about that girl sometimes, her fucking eyes looking at those things and the way they looked at the wrong doorway first. Fucking awful. Anyway, I've got to go cook dinner for my family, so maybe I'll come answer any questions in a few hours.